Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us this morning as we stand in unison to recognize National Gun Violence Prevention Day here in the city of York. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to the podium our esteemed Mayor, Mayor C. Kim Bracey.
Good morning, all. Thank you very much, Aquinas. Good to see all of you here with us today, particularly all of our partners. We have Commissioner Rowley back here, too. Come on up, sir. And Gene Truther from our York YWCA, who's always a partner in helping us address community issues, and some community residents who've been leading a number of efforts. Mr. Carter and your brother, Mr. Carter. The two of you would like to join us, please. As Aquinas already indicated, we stand here today in solidarity with the mayors against illegal guns. Most of you know that I've been a member, therefore the city's been a member of that organization for some time. And today we are recognizing, in partnership with the Wear Orange campaign, recognizing June 2nd as National Gun Violence Awareness Day in our city. It is going to be recognized nationally, but we are recognizing it and joining in again with these organizations on Thursday, June 2nd. Councilwoman Walker, please join us, ma'am. She has on the orange, okay? We want to thank all of our elected officials for being here with us. Councilwoman Walker is the liaison to our police department. We have, again, Commissioner Rowley with us, representing Kevin Schreiber, representing the District Attorney, Tom Kearney, Kyle King with us, and again, all the other wonderful folks we've acknowledged. We want to thank you, again, our community, those personally affected by gun violence, and those actively taking a stand and sharing the message that the unfortunate occurrence of gun violence in our community must end. To say not one more child, one grandchild, son, daughter, mother, father, or family member to be lost at the hands of gun violence in our community. Enough is enough. June 2nd marks the second year of National Gun Violence Awareness Day and the Wear Orange campaign, which was inspired by a group of Chicago teens, actually, that asked their classmates to commemorate the life of their murdered friend, Adia Pendleton, by wearing orange, the color hunters wear to protect themselves in the woods. June 2nd is actually Hadia's birthday, to which she would have celebrated her 19th birthday this year. National Gun Violence Awareness Day is to honor her life, as well as the lives of more than 90 Americans that have been killed by senseless gun violence every day, and the hundreds more who are shot and survive. By wearing orange, to inspire others in believing that more can be done to save lives from gun violence, by actively becoming involved with the more than 100 nonprofit partners that participate in the Wear Orange campaign, as well as organizations within our own community. We know that there is not one solution that can put an end to the crisis in our community and communities across the country. We've heard already about the active violence that took place this weekend alone in Chicago and the number of lives that have been lost. But we do know that working together, we can bring together the right resources, bring safety, health, and peace back to our own York, our own community. Although many of us are wearing orange or orange-like emblems, if you will, today to show our support for the lives of those gone too soon or taken away from us too soon, and those lives that have survived the acts of gun violence. I encourage everyone throughout our community on Thursday, this Thursday, June 2nd, to wear orange, to show that together as a community, we will not stand for another life lost too soon to the acts of gun violence. We're asking people to share their pictures on our city's website, on our city's City of York's Facebook page and other social media outlets with the hashtag #WearOrange. Hashtag #WearOrange, to let it be known that in our community, enough is enough. We have a couple other folks that want to speak as well, too, that I'm asking to speak this morning around this important issue, and I want to ask them to come up. Next is my police chief, our police chief, Wes Kelly. Chief.
Morning. I'm going to be brief. I first learned about the Wear Orange campaign while watching ESPN. Actually, they did a story of a bunch of young men that belong to a basketball team, and they wear orange on their uniforms to bring awareness. And I obviously, as a police chief here in the city, we support anything that brings awareness to the amount of gun violence we have. We've made great strides over the last several years at reducing our gun violence, but there's a lot more that needs to be done. And we support anything that will continue the conversation about how to reduce the gun violence and the illegal guns within our city while still protecting the rights of lawful gun owners here in York. So we definitely would encourage everyone to get involved with this effort, to wear orange on Thursday, to get involved if you're a city resident or even a non-city resident in how we can work together to reduce gun violence in this city and stop the amount of homicides that we do have, the amount of shootings that we do have, and the destruction of basically our young children and a generation of kids that are needlessly being harmed. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. We appreciate the work the men and women of our police department do every day. Next week, we'll have Representative Kevin Schreiber. After him, we'll have Kyle King representing our district attorney's office. And following him will be Mr. Carter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank the mayor and all of these individuals and organizations that are here today. Just staring at the back of the mayor's T-shirt, it says "Every Town for Gun Safety." Look at that, right there. And I think that's important because there aren't many communities that have not been afflicted or affected in some form or fashion from gun violence. And as the chief said, and as I'm sure you'll hear some other speakers, this is an incredibly important, incredibly sobering topic. And I think it's important that as we all talk throughout our community and our Commonwealth about the epidemic of heroin or drug abuse, that we also recognize that gun violence and drug abuse are inextricably linked. And as the mayor had mentioned, this is not an issue that has one single answer, but rather this is all of the above. We will take all answers, and I think it will take a village, it will take a community to try to mitigate and try to solve this issue. At the House of Representatives and in the Commonwealth, I'm a member of the SAFE Caucus, which is comprised of representatives, Republican and Democrat, House and Senate. It is bicameral, it is bipartisan, and it is to focus on trying to bring about sensible reforms to help reduce gun violence, because each day over 91 Americans are killed by gun violence. And that's a sobering statistic, but that's something that we should all take away today, that as the mayor had said, we should all stand for not one more. But a couple of the things that the SAFE Caucus is working on, and we encourage everyone to wear orange on Thursday, to tweet, to Facebook, to promote this issue, to raise awareness. We are looking for several things, one of which is adequate funding for mental health services, stronger tools for our law enforcement, resources to curb the effects of addiction and illegal drugs, and solutions that reduce gun violence and promote public safety. And I have some information that I'm happy to hand out that gives the legislative agenda for the SAFE Caucus, but specifically right now we are promoting House Bill 1010, which would end the gun show loophole and require background checks for all weapons. This is an issue that has been identified as whether you're a gun owner or not. If you're a responsible gun owner, many would say that they agree that they would welcome a background check to ensure that individuals that have a propensity towards violence or shouldn't own a gun cannot obtain that gun and ultimately do bad things with it. So thank you again to Mayor Bracey, thanks to our chief, and thanks to all of these individuals. And again, remind everyone to wear orange on Thursday, to tweet, to Facebook, and to raise awareness of this incredibly important topic. I'd like to introduce Kyle from the District Attorney's Office. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for being here today. I, like the chief, will be brief. I would like to thank Mayor Bracey, Chief Cayley, and Representative Schreiber, first of all, for their invite to this morning's press conference, but more importantly, for their leadership on this important topic. There are many variables affecting our city today that make it ripe for illegal gun activity and the violence that follows. However, I must applaud the work of Chief Cayley and the hardworking men and women of the York City Police Department. It's because of their efforts that violent crime numbers continue to drop, and it's because of those same efforts and vision that will continue to improve this great community. This is a community problem, and it will take a community effort to make this a safer place to work, go to school, and play. The Office of the District Attorney remains committed to making this a safe and desirable place to do each of those things. Let us make sure that all of these people who have been lost because of gun violence is not done so in vain.
Thank you, Kyle. And please give my regards to the district attorney. Without him and all the other elected officials, we wouldn't be able to do what we do as elected officials. Kyle indicated in his remarks, so it takes the community, all of us. And we have a community member who has been at the table with Chief Kelly and I on more than one occasion, expressing his concern, his disdain for what's happening in our community and how he would like to be able to be a part of the solution. So I'm going to ask Mr. Carter if he would come forward to offer a few words as a community concerned citizen about the senseless gun violence in our city. Carter.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Benny Carter, and my brother Jerome. We're members of the United Coalition Against Violence. We have been, since back in the early 90s, we've been patrolling York. He's the founder of the coalition, and we support the mayor in everything that she's doing. And as Chief Kelly, we support you also. Now, we encourage you to wear orange on June 2nd as to help stop this violence. As you know, the guns in the wrong hands, what they can do. And if you would please, as you can see, we have done, Mayor Bracy, we have did a timeline. If you might. We've done a timeline for Mayor Bracy, and we sure appreciate what you have done, Mayor Bracy.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. She responded. I sent a note to her, and she responded just like that. And we sure appreciate you, Mayor Bracy, for what you have done for us. This is what I can say. Thank you. All right. If you, Carter, if you want to.
Okay. I just got one thing to add. When we were kids, this was our solution right here. We never resorted to violence with guns. Now, up in Harrisburg, just the other day, there was a gun shop that was broken into, and there was numerous amount of guns that was stolen. Now, what's going to happen to these guns? You're going to see in the news where this person was shot, that person was shot, and there has to be something done. I associate these people that's doing the killings with terrorists. To me, that's what they are. They're terrorists. You can put them on the same scale with ISIS, even though they're not as big. But I mean, it doesn't make any sense. When you kill somebody, you're not only affecting your life and the person that you killed, you're affecting your family's life and the family of your victim. Did this make you a man by killing somebody? No. A man, as what my dad always told me, takes responsibility to his family. He sets up an example for his kids. When you kill somebody, that's putting you in a black spot for your kids. So let's hope that we can do something about this violence in York. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. We appreciate your partnership and the things that you all help us do in this community. Again, we want to thank Commissioner Rowley for being here with us. Finally, to end today's program, we have a proclamation that Councilwoman Walker will read, and we'll take questions from you all at the end.
Thank you, Mayor Bracy. This is a proclamation for National Gun Violence Awareness Day, June 2nd, 2016. Whereas every day 91 Americans are killed by gun violence and the lives of countless others are injured. And Americans are 25 times more likely to be murdered with guns than people in other developed countries. Whereas mayors and law enforcement officers know their communities best, are the most familiar with local criminal activity and how to address it, and are best positioned to understand how to keep their citizens safe. Whereas to help honor Hadiya and the 91 Americans whose lives are cut short and the countless survivors who are injured by shootings every day, a national coalition of organizations has designated June 2nd, 2016 as the second annual National Gun Violence Awareness Day. Whereas we renew our commitment to reduce gun violence and to pledge to do all we can to keep firearms out of the wrong hands and encourage responsible gun ownership to help keep our children safe. Now, therefore, be it resolved that our mayor, C. Kim Bracey, Mayor of the City of York, Pennsylvania, declares June 2nd to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you.